NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Welcome to NewsBiscuit, the UK's original fake news. NewsBiscuit, 99% biscuit, 1% funny. I'm your host, Wrenfoe, and I'm joined by three AI-generated guests. BillClay.
Hi there.
Chipchase.
Hello.
And Paul L.
Hello.
This month sees LA fires caused by P. Diddy's client list being burnt. Palestinians return to their homes, if by homes you mean big pile of rubble. And UK voters are concerned that Keir Starmer is constantly abroad but may return. And that brings us to our first round news in brief, where our panelists select their favourite headlines. Chipchase, what have you got?
Trump bashes the bishop.
Trump is back, baby. He is back.
He's going to drill, baby, drill.
From a comedy writing perspective, I'm just glad to see him.
Yeah,
because he is good fun.
As an aside, I'm editor this week, and anything that comes in seems to be prefixed with the name Trump.
To his credit, though, he's mixing it up. He's coming at a rate of knots. There's something new constantly. It's not like Biden. Biden just rocked up and just did a genocide. And after a while, that got quite boring. But with Trump, you just don't know. Yeah, what was he? Because we had, it was obviously a terrible thing, but there was like a plane crash this week, wasn't there?
Yes.
And
two.
Trump, two, in fact, yes. But Trump's blamed them not on sort of mechanical failure or bird strike. What was the thing he accused them of?
DEI, wasn't it? Or
DEI of the
DEI, yeah.
Yes. Diversity. Diversity caused the plane to crash. See, I thought it was gravity.
Was it also empathy that also caused the crash as well? That was one of the classed as one of the new deadly sins.
It's too much empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and it's bad for you apparently. So,
well, was because it was a plane and a helicopter crashed into each other. Were they just getting sort of close? They were snuggling. He's an odd guy, right? Chipchase. What else?
Custard pies, do they strike you as funny? I should do this in a Jonathan Ross voice, but I can't. Godly gangs in turf war. We'd all about it.
Yeah, that wasn't Jonathan Ross. What was that?
That was East End villain. If Kimmy and Nigel got together, would that Lance lead us to a new party called Conform?
Or Reservative? Is it?
Yeah.
Would that be
Reservative. That's not bad.
Reservatives, yeah.
There you go. Wrenfoe.
I'm not sure Nigel would want her, actually, because I think he's doing perfectly well without her. Well, she's just got such horrendous ideas, hasn't she?
Sorry, Wrenfoe. There, you turned round like she was behind you.
I did. No,
that was very odd.
She's got me.
He started doing that when Liz Truss was about.
No, I've got a cat on the windowsill who's sticking around with something, and that is what.
Sorry, I just thought, is he in trouble? Blink. Kemi's behind you. Blink, for God's sake.
Coca-Cola addict is just clutching at straws.
Coke was in the news a couple of weeks ago because there were some poisonous cans of Coke that were out there, weren't they? They had some dodgy chemicals in it. Really? And I got a little bit smug, like you do, at other people's pain and misery. And I was like, ha, 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 ha. People drinking Coke, they're dying. I'm fine with my appetizer. And then 2 weeks later, they announced that appetizer's got the same stuff in it. I'm like, no. I was so smug and healthy. And
pouring
now
it all down the drain, weren't you?
I've poisoned I've drunk it all. That was the frustrating thing is, at least with the Coke, they got like warning. I was drinking 2 weeks of poisonous appetizer. And now I have been feeling funny, I'll be honest.
Well, last one from me. Heathrow third runway to be built at Gatwick.
Yep, this is news that the Labour Party, Keir Starmer has reneged on another promise, for that is what he does. He is as constant as a northern star in this regard. Yeah, so his big thing was, he's had many promises, but one of them was a cast iron promise. We will never build the third runway, and all the Just Oil protesters, they're the bravest and most wonderful people ever. And yeah, he's done a full 180 on that one. Building the runway, definitely. And we're looking up all these tree huggers. Seems to be the gist.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Well done. Well done, Shakir.
I don't know who that appeals to. Because even whatever side you are of the kind of environmental discussion, what have you, nobody likes a liar.
I was watching Question Time the other night. Some chap very sensibly said, this is going to take 25 years for, why is it going to take 25 years for a strip of concrete to be laid just outside London? Which is a valid question, I would have thought. must be some very, very important concrete.
Oh, a lot of backhanders go in
Yeah.
these building projects. But yes, the other big concept, the reason they're doing it, I mean, Richard Reese's thing is that it's going to stimulate growth in the economy. But if it does, we're not going to feel it for another decade or so. And I was reading some other bit of information that for every single tourist we get coming into Britain, we send 3 out in the other direction. So it's for every runway, it's the opposite of growth. You're draining money out of so I don't know. They're morons. All on the take. Hate them all. Yeah, carry on. Right, so BillClay, what have you got?
Nigel Farage to have his arms firmly stapled to his sides.
This is reference to the fact that Elon Musk obviously gave a bit of a Nazi salute.
It was a bit of one, wasn't it? It was 98% of one.
The liberal outrage off the back of it was huge. I was like, yeah, it's this Gary. He's definitely a Nazi. And then, of course, everyone online Googled every single politician that's existed in the last 10 years and found images of all of them giving the same salute. And you're like, going, well...
Well, I think it's the images. It's the video that's the worst bit, I think. Everyone would...
Well, I think the worst bit is he does it so awkwardly.
Yeah,
he's very awkward.
He's not practiced enough.
Yeah, there's no sort of beauty in it. There's no, a lot of politicians, there's just a smooth arm, and he's just awkward in his body shape and everything.
Probably is the worst thing. Yes,
he didn't have the uniform. That's what threw him.
My youngest son always tells me that was the best bit of the Nazis. He always tells me is the uniform.
Hugo Boss,
and I can't disagree. They did look cool. Although there was that David Mitchell's routine, isn't there? It's that sketch when they're in their Nazi outfits. And then they notice the skull emblems and everything, and they're like, "Are we the baddies?"
Yeah,
it's brilliantly absurd.
Inventor of Ultra Velcro said it was hard to pull off. Harry gets his day in the sun.
Yes, Harry successfully sued the Sun for the encroaching on his privacy, of which they wrote then 28 pages.
What's annoying about that is that they billed it as a David and Goliath, didn't they? And it's if like David had the same very expensive solicitors and lawyers as Goliath. It's not David and Goliath, is it? He's not one of the people going up against this big. He's got lots of money.
Or if David was equipped with I don't know, a missile launcher or something like that.
A level playing field.
It's Goliath and Goliath. That is more. That is it.
And I'm pleased to see there's no prosecutions or anything coming off the back of it. It's just
Goliath gave Goliath a lot more money that they can still afford. Just shifting it around.
Yeah, because it was Rebecca Brooks, wasn't it, who was one of the main editors at the time. And everyone was going, well, she's clearly as guilty as sin. And then we were told, no, she wasn't. And now again, it proves that probably she was. So there will be no consequences at all to her.
She'll keep her internship at the whatever position she's in at the moment.
Head of one of Murdoch's companies, isn't she? It's like she got promotion. It's unbelievable. I found out.
Crime pays, definitely. And of course, someone sort of snidey online kind of, and I think it was outrageous to ask the question. They went, "Oh, who was head of the Crime Prosecution Service when Rebecca Brooks wasn't in prison?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that was Keir Starmer again."
His fault. His fault.
The last one, I think, is just Nicola Sturgeon finally achieves independence.
Yes, she's got divorced from her husband, and the pair of them appear to have sort of kept the marriage together just because of the various police investigations into each other. I don't think that's a strong foundation for any relationship.
Well, to be honest, we've all known couples who've kept it together for much less than that. So.
I'll stay together with you as long as you keep stum. Seems to be the marriage vow.
Are they staying together just for the motorhome?
Paul, over to you.
Nick Clegg contract has met an untimely end.
Hey.
Oh, look at that pun.
Whoa.
Yeah, Nick's got, well, he says he's kind of retired, but he's basically got sacked because he backed the Democrats so much in the election. Now that Trump's elected, Meta can't have someone like that heading their team, so he's had to sort of step off. Yeah. So Nick Clegg consistently backs the wrong horse, I think, is the story of his entire career.
AI hit by AI, copying its AI. And this is about the DeepSeek, and it's hinted that the A in their AI stands for irony.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think anyone has any sympathy for the American AI industry that is claiming that the Chinese might have copied them. You're going, yeah, that's what it does. And it's at the Chinese version as well. It's at such a fraction of the price. It's not like even like half price. It's like 1% of the cost.
Isn't that the AI telling you that though?
Yeah.
Unless you ask it about any Chinese history, then
it goes stum, then goes. Of course, we could all be for deep fakes. No, couldn't we? This may not be happening.
No, we'd be funnier if we AI.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know NewsBiscuit is legit because I keep going, only a human could have written that dross. A robot would at least done spell check, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say it's wiped billions off stock value in America, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't worry. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll get by, won't they?
That always happens, doesn't it?
You hear this for a week.
Always hear it. Wipes billions off stock market. You go, what's happened the next day? Nothing. It's just the billions have come back. Thank God. I don't know how finance works, but it seems to work like that. So that's good.
Yeah,
well, very insightful, Paul.
I'm still baffled over Trump's cryptocurrency scam. I don't know what that's about. It hurts my head to think about it.
Well, none of them are scams, cryptocurrency, until they are.
Yeah.
That's the best way of defining it, because, all currencies are all about perception. So if we all buy into a thing and we all invest not just our money, but our trust in it, then it becomes legitimate. But the moment one person goes like the emperor's new clothes, this is nothing.
I know, this is nothing here.
Then it evaporates really quickly. There's the Hawk Tour girl. Have you encountered her?
No.
I know what's cool. Yeah.
She's down with the kids. This young lady who got very famous for basically talking about her oral sex technique, hence the name, and really got very big off the back of it. And she set up her own podcast instantly, sort of multimillionaire overnight. And she launched a cryptocurrency, which a load of morons invested in, because who invests in a cryptocurrency on the basis that someone's good at oral sex? I mean, that's not a sound financial decision.
Oh,
and she's
come on, Wrenfoe. That's not fair on some of us.
Yes, yeah, but she's disappeared overnight. She's gone, and the currency has evaporated.
Yeah,
and there's loads of people online going, "I've lost all my savings."
She went with suitcases stuffed full of dollars.
So
I prefer to keep mine under the mattress like everybody else.
Right, how do we get onto that? I have no idea. What else we got there, Paul?
Me.
Okay, next one. Government calls for inquiry into gangs of wealthy foreign entrepreneurs grooming UK politicians.
Very true. It's not so much that our politicians are corrupt and can be bought off, because I think that's always been the case. They just bought off so cheaply. That's what's disappointing.
Suitcase full of clothes.
Yeah.
It's just like, my God, just hold out for something at least. But no, they don't.
Third runway, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only get bribed by enough to put it in an envelope. It's not talking millions. It's like, how much do you want? How much can you fit in an A4 envelope? That will do.
Yeah,
okay.
Some of these lobbyists walk out of the meeting and go, I thought we were going to pay a lot more. They settled for a pen. Our next round is a True Biscuit, where our panel has to guess which is a real headline and which is a fake one.
I make tiny models of Beatles holding sex toys for a living.
Yeah, can we do the True Biscuit though? Can we just cut to the? Sorry, you're making tiny models of Beatles. What, like George, John, and Ringo?
No. This is not me, as I cleverly sounded like it was me in a humorous way for comedy value. This is an artist.
Yeah, well, that's debatable.
Artists making art now.
It's models of Beatles.
Two E's.
Not EA, okay. Yeah. And they're all holding sex toys.
Yes.
Are these sex toys to proportion? So is there like a little beetle holding a dildo that's the equivalent of like the Empire State? Or...
No.
So do you need to view them with a magnifying glass?
No, I think they are large enough to view.
I would recommend just not bothering viewing, to be honest. I mean, if you want.
They're quite a comment on the world, aren't they, really? This is the
Beatles or the sex toys?
Both together, combined.
What comment are they making there, Paul?
Well, I think for me, it's sexual freedom.
For you or the Beatles? Or
both, all everyone involved. It's and this might be a direct quote from me or from
Right.
the article. It's taking what is often frowned upon and celebrating it, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I see. I'm sure there's very sexual sort of activities and proclivities that I might frown upon, but sex involving Beatles, I haven't even got to thinking about that in my life to have an opinion about it.
No.
I don't know. Am I outraged? I don't know.
Is it a thing, as the kids say?
oh, it's definitely a thing.
Is it?
It
Oh,
changes
Chipchase.
the I'm a celebrity format,
You
doesn't it?
you could go on the internet, buy yourself a bug that is sitting, using a vibrator and smoking a vape. If
That's where the extra legs come in and hand. Yeah.
Oh, yes, you can do it otherwise. And this individual who's been making these, who was saying for the purpose argument isn't Paul. How long have you not been making the? I mean, been making these, Paul? Not Paul. Been making these.
Well, I believe the artist. Let's say 2 years.
Say three or four.
You just plucked that out of your ass, though. Didn't
I mean,
you,
that was
Paul?
just complete.
I did just pluck out my ass, like the Beatles are doing in some of these.
Can I just ask, what are they modelled in, or what are they?
Well, the Beatles are actual Beatles, so they're actually dead.
Oh, right. So they're taxidermed or whatever
Or did these Beatles then die in a sexually explicit pose?
Yeah.
I think there's a consent issue here.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
For us, with Paul right now.
Yeah,
Yes, I think
everything.
you're right.
The whole thing.
Did no one get the forms that I sent through earlier?
No,
Yeah,
right.
this
Well.
episode has become triggery.
These bugs are from sustainable sanctuaries.
Sex sanctuaries, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're just shagging all day long. They die in sort of post-coital rigor mortis. And then, that's a lot of Latin for an early Saturday. And then they're frozen and somebody crowbars it. Oh, isn't that a little bit worrying for us as well? Because, when you die and you say to your family, oh, I want to be cremated. I want to go, be buried normally. And they're thinking, then just nodding along going, yeah, whatever. And in their heads, they're going, no, we're going to get you.
We're going to stuff you with vibrator in your hand.
And and put you on
There's a
display.
tick box on the sort of the will.
Yeah, you're going to.
Did I tick that one? No.
Yeah, you're going to have a long list of things you don't want done with your body rather than what you do.
The artist does say some people, and I quote, don't get it.
Is that Sex Beatles? Is that a thing, Bill? Is it, Bill? Go on, tell us, Bill.
Yeah, that is definitely happening somewhere.
Well, as I look over to the shelf in the corner and see my collection of flies riding unicycles, I think this could be true. I think.
Of course, it's true.
Why? Why? What's the why? Why is anyone? Why?
And I'm just putting a link on the screen in the chat for you to purchase at a discount.
Are you on commission, Paul? Come on.
Yes, exactly. That's the only way I do this podcast. So I can get these niche websites.
What's the promotion code?
Bill, can you at least raise the bar?
Please God.
What have you got?
I will try. The Guardian is claiming to be launching a "What the BBC Says the Papers Are Saying" column.
Hold on.
So basically, they will review what the BBC says when they do what the papers say, and then they will look at what papers the BBC has said for analysis, and then see what the reaction from the Guardian is on those papers.
Oh my God, that's so many layers of
quite a brainstorm. Whoever came up with that?
Yeah. So the BBC already comment on the newspapers, and so the Guardian now going to comment on the BBC commenting on the Guardian, and then
and
it's a bit like Gogglebox, isn't it?
What the papers say, what the papers say. Two.
Yeah.
The reckoning.
You've got this kind of conga line of lies. By the time you've gone through the version of the version of the version of the version, I mean, what muddled mess are you left with?
But think of the money. Look, think of the clicks. Think of the constant reviewing of what you said, but what I said.
It's a big sort of circle jerk of journalists.
Yeah.
That's not the headline, no.
Back to Paul again.
I mean, nobody reads The Guardian anymore, so this might be true. This could be an attempt.
Yeah, but they will read it if it's what the BBC is saying on it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is true, I will be getting an email from The Guardian telling me about it, because I seem to be don't know if anyone gets this. You get a lot of emails now from the
Yours are
Guardian.
all cease and desist, though, Paul.
Stop writing to us.
Yeah, stop sending the pictures. It may be anatomically correct, but it's morally wrong. I guess it's another layer of
Something like
mainstream
that, isn't
media
it?
I can ignore, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a bit like all these pointless programs on Channel 4 and 5. I don't know. They
you can't name any because they're pointless. You see?
No, that's what I mean. They plumb you.
I think some pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm marrying a naked something or other. I don't know.
So is this your story? Sorry.
Yeah. It's a confession. It's a confession.
That one's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is a true biscuit. I just think we haven't got there yet. Please, it's more a hope than anything that we haven't got.
You want this to happen? Okay. So
No, I don't want it to happen. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to happen. I think it'll be a nightmare.
I'm inclined to agree with Paul. I think this can't. Please don't let it be true.
All right, Bill, you've scared them.
Well, I'm happy to say that, yes, it is a true biscuit from
Wow.
November 2021. So,
Oh, good.
I love the relief on your face.
No, yes.
Well, 2021, it was probably quite a funny joke. And we were probably quite optimistic back then. But now we're going, no, that's a dystopian reality that we're in.
Of course, we were in lockdown then as well, weren't we? Pretty much, I would have thought.
Oh, I miss lockdown. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone died, obviously. But it was
Swings and
quite
roundabouts.
nice. No, it was just like so much sunshine, you know? You seeing sunshine. I miss vitamin D. I really do.
But sad syndrome.
Yeah. No, yes. Oh god, best years of my life. Well, and now off the back of lockdown, I do now wonder if actually I'd do all right in prison.
You would, Wrenfoe, I tell you.
A pretty lad like me, no problem. Well, my youngest son, he always bangs on about after we watched Shawshank Redemption, and great film and everything, and he was going, "That's brilliant. I want to go to prison." And we go, "Why you want to go to prison? Do you not see all like the beatings and the rape?" He goes, "Yeah, I could deal with that." He said, "But the nice thing is, you just get to hang out with your mates all day long, and you don't really have to do anything." And I thought, yeah, actually,
there is another
like that.
There's another version. He could just go and be like a scientist instead on a remote island. Then that would be a different. He can still do the whole hanging out with your mates, but rather than doing a crime.
I think he's going to miss the sodomy. So,
well, you still get that with a scientist. So,
yeah, the trouble is you have sex with scientists. You're never sure if they mean it or is it just like an experiment.
I'm usually the control group, to be fair.
Chipchase, what about you? What's your story?
Well, I've prepared a couple, so I don't know which one to go with. I can give you something about Mount Everest.
Well, now you've teed it up for us. You might as well go with that then.
Yeah, don't give us that one.
I'll go. Contrary to popular belief, Mount Everest isn't the tallest mountain on Earth.
Are you trying to just start a conversation with us?
That was it. That's my interesting fact. You can tell that to everybody down the pub.
I feel like we're on a date and this is your first gambit at like conversation.
Is this how your dates go?
Top 10 favourite mountains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
Number 7 will shock you.
All right. What is the tallest mountain then, Mr. Smarty Pants?
I can't tell you that. But that's over there.
Can't or won't.
Haven't you seen it?
Well, yeah, I've got it a little
It's
sort of
massive.
Is it pulped copies of the last NewsBiscuit book?
This was going to sort of, engage your inquisitive brains, but it hasn't, has it?
We're not putting out, if that's what you're saying. You haven't.
Well, I've only just learned that Mount Everest is supposed to be the tallest mountain. So
yeah,
Paul's had a lot to deal with, a lot of process.
See, what I'd envisaged in my mind was, you're to bollocks. Of course it is. Everybody knows it is. And then we had a heated debate about it. But of course, that's not happening now, is it?
I'm just not emotionally invested in whether it's the tallest one or not. I'll be honest.
I've dropped an amazing fact in there, and people couldn't give a monkey's.
No, I'm sure the viewers at home are
very
arguing
disappointed.
over it.
Very disappointed for me. I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning research.
I'm sure people who live near Mount Everest would be engaged.
Yeah.
They'd be outraged.
Or someone who's climbing over what they thought was a really small hill, only to discover that it is the tallest mountain. And you'd be like, oh, no. Exactly. I tried to avoid Mount Everest. I've gone the shortcut and I've inadvertently walked up whatever it is.
It's just,
Yeah.
trouble is I can't really name any more mountains that.
Mount Rushmore.
Is that no? That's a mount, isn't it?
What did you do to it, Paul? You're not supposed to do that. Yes, you mounted it. That's terrible. All those presidents' faces. You just saw that as an opportunity.
Like we
didn't
said,
you?
it's Beatles collection.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're going for the fact that are we going for saying that Everest is probably the tallest, but mountains from where they start in the ocean going upwards?
Yeah, I can never understand that. Yeah, I've heard that sort of thing before. But when we're calculating human beings' height, if someone just steps into a trench, we don't suddenly not count that bit of their leg.
Exactly,
They're still
exactly.
6'4". It's not like, Dave's shrunk by 3 foot. He's
I'm
standing
not
up.
justifying this. I'm not,
But it's such a strange way of measuring. People who measure mountains, they're not very sort of exact. They're like, well, I'll start from the bit that I can climb on. No, you start at the bottom and work up.
Rubbish.
Rubbish, says Bill. He's straight in there. Despite the fact he's come up with the answer, which is probably it's an underground mountain, but he's been a good sport and he's saying rubbish.
Yeah.
It was a True Biscuit headline joke published in 2021 when we didn't have.
Yeah, back when we were just trying to start conversations rather than get a laugh. Okay, Chipchase.
Mount Everest isn't the tallest mountain on Earth. Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa in Hawaii, the twin volcanoes, are taller than Mount Everest due to 4.2 kilometers of their heights being submerged underwater.
Oldest trick in the book.
Finally, we reached the magic 8-ball.
The magic 8-ball!
Each of our guests is going to give us their predictions for next month's news.
Trump will designate experts as a terrorist organisation.
White House aides planning to hide all news events from Trump as study confirms he knows absolutely nothing about everything.
Well, as long as it makes him money and keeps him out of prison, he will.
Yeah.
That's his main narrative, and I think
Well, to
everyone.
be fair, that's mine. I'll be honest, Bill.
Mine concerns the Chinese spy who found out that Prince Andrew's aides thought his interview was ill-advised. He's now going to report back to his bosses that the bears shit in the woods.
That was one of the lamest headlines I saw. You're like,
Yeah.
that bit of information anyone could have got. I mean, what?
We've got our best man on it.
He comes back and he goes, this Prince character, you know what? He's the son of a queen. And you're like, any other bleeding obvious you've come back with? Yeah, I don't think the guy's a spy. I don't even think he's a very good gossip.
No.
Because these are such obvious things. The sky is blue. And that brings us to the end of this episode. And I can reveal this month's winner is the first person to drop a house on Rachel Reeves and steal her ruby slippers. I'd like to thank Chipchase,
You're welcome.
BillClay,
No problem.
and Paul L.
Goodbye.
And I leave you with these headlines. Indecisive balloonist leaves things up in the air. Pretty chiropractor is turning heads. And the space between Trump's ears is renamed Gulf of America.
You've been listening to NewsBiscuit, free to read and free to write for. We accept submissions from any budding satirist, young or old. Visit newsbiscuit.com to submit headlines, stories, and to support new writers.
NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Paul was just talking about a hazing that we could give you as this is your first podcast.
Oh, excellent. Well, as long as I wasn't nervous enough already. So
Well, Paul's big idea is to wrap you in cellophane.
standard stuff.
And I need a bucket of tartan paint if you can get me some.
Right.
I'm just full of skyhooks at the moment.
Yeah,
So-
long wait.
Well, long wait then. Yeah, that'll do.
is that the one that's used in dry water fishing?
It is. Yeah.